Welcome to Character Select. My name is Dave, and this is not Metal Gear Solid Peace Walker. This is, in fact, PC Building Simulator. So, for anybody that doesn't follow the posts that I make on Character Select, which you should, because usually there's a poll there every couple of weeks, just, asking random stuff. But due to various technical difficulties with my Elgato game capture, we lost the episodes of Metal Gear Solid Peace Walker that we had recorded before. We're going to record them again, don't worry, but we're not going to do it until tomorrow, which means today there's no episode. So instead, I put up a poll saying, do you want us to do some kind of filler, maybe a one-shot or something? I don't know, whatever. And the vote came back as one-shot. So here we are. I wanted to do this with other people, possibly play a different game, but unfortunately the timeline did not allow for it. So here we are. This is PC Building Simulator. This is a game that I actually have put way too much time into because I actually really like building PCs. And it's a lot of fun. You'll also have to forgive me if I look like crap. I just woke up. And I realized I had to record this. I have other stuff to do today, so I thought it would be a fun little exercise to... Is that a garbage can? What's in there? I can't get closer than this. Thought it'd be a fun little exercise to build my computer and show you guys what it looks like. And if you've never built your own computer, if you've always bought off the shelf or you buy a laptop, that's fine. You're not hurting anything by doing that. You might learn a couple of things here. Probably not, but I don't need notes. Okay, so first thing that we're going to do is see if my case is here. It is a fractal. I actually have the list of the parts here. It looks like we don't have the exact one. Define S black silent. Yeah, we don't have the exact one. Mine is a silent, which means that it has a bunch of soundproofing on it. But it does look like this, so... I'm really hoping that this music is not copyright claimed. It's just the game music, so it should be fine. But let's see here. So that's my case. Let's open it up and take a look. I don't need a USB drive. So this is not what my case looks like because those have been removed. This is not what my case looks like at all, is it? Yeah, this is the Define R5 black. Ugh, I grabbed the wrong case. Get out of here. Cases. R5 black. We need the Define S. They don't have it. That's a bit of a problem. They really don't have it? That's interesting. If it's possible to see if there's something close to it. That's a mini ITX. We don't want that. That's too small. Wow, they really don't make it anymore. What case is similar to the Fractal Define S Summit? They don't have the define S in here at all, do they? Huh. It's interesting. Alright, well, we'll make do. We'll make do. It's close enough. Actually, yeah, it's close enough. As long as you remove the dry bays, you're fine. So this is the case. Case is pretty empty, as you can see. The couple of reasons that get out of here. A couple of reasons that I like this case. First of all, it's got a lot of air movement. So it's got the fan here, the fan in the back. Mine does not have any fans at the bottom, but it does have the dust filter there, and it has these top panels that you can remove if you need more air, but it also has a dust filter here. So the main reason that I got this case is because it's quiet. Honestly, I'm a big fan of quiet PCs. Quiet PCs are the best. So now that we've got the base of it, and I do have to make a couple of assumptions on this because I don't know exactly what some of my parts are, but got my list here. There we go. So the first thing that you want to install is actually the power supply, not the motherboard. I have a Corsair, but I don't know what it is. It's modular, I know that. This one's semi-modular, I don't think it's that. So there's different types of power supplies. A power supply you generally want to get, in my opinion, such as it is, a modular power supply. Because it means less cables. You only install cables as you need them. I know my power supply is a 750 watt power supply. I know that for a fact. And there's not too many of those. So we're just going to go with this one. Alright. Alright, so I'm playing in free play mode, so I have all of the parts anyway. So I don't need to actually do that. I'm not sure if it's an RM750X. It probably isn't. I bought it like 7 years ago. But I know it's a 750 watt power supply. Don't plug it in. Jesus, what's wrong with you? Don't plug it in until you're ready to be done with it. Okay. I have to sneeze. Do I have to sneeze? I do not. God, it is early. It's like 9 o'clock. Fuck. Okay. So the power supply it powers everything that you have. You definitely want to have a good one. Does my... Cool. You definitely want to have a good power supply to make sure that you can run everything. These days, the 750 is probably not enough if I ever wanted to upgrade to a 3000 card, but we'll get to that. Alright, so we've got... Oh, nope. I typed the wrong thing. Let's see if we've got the one that we need here. So this is my motherboard. You fucking wish it was that easy. Can I turn that off, actually? Free build options. Auto connect, quick screw, quick cable. Faster installation. Okay. We're just going to remove all this stuff so I can guide you through the process of building your own computer. And honestly, this game is really good for teaching you about building your own computer. Okay. So let's try that again, shall we? Alright, so install. Motherboards. Gigabyte GA. So my motherboard is actually the Rev 1.0 version of this, which, whatever, it doesn't make that much of a difference in terms of what it looks like. It actually doesn't make any difference at all. But, okay, so when you're installing a motherboard, you don't want to attach it directly to the case, because then you have electric current flowing through the motherboard into the case and everything shorts out and you're in trouble. So you have these cool little screws called jumpers. They're super easy to install. You just twist them in by hand usually. You can tighten them with a tool if you want to. But you get those jumpers installed, and then you slap the... I fucking turned that off. Fucking Jesus. Ugh. Yes, actually, I would like to reset my workshop. Fucker. Get this shit out of here. Now we've got to start all over again. And this one's close enough. It's actually pretty close. I don't have that many USB ports. Mine has 2 ports on the front, but they're 3.0s instead of 2.0s. What the hell is... This isn't the right case. Get that shit out of here. I wouldn't think this would be so hard, but apparently here we are. You the right case? Yeah, you're the right case. Okay. Get that. Get this out of there. Get this out of there. Cool. Pull off this side panel. There we go. Okay, let's try that again, shall we? Power supply. Corsair. Boop. Shove that bad boy in. Boop. Alright, so we've got the Corsair installed. Now let's try installing the motherboard again. That one. Alright, so we've got the jumpers. Putting those bad boys in. And yes, I have made the mistake of not putting jumpers in. It's really, really hard to screw in the motherboard to the case because the screws aren't long enough. So it's really hard to mess that up. And as much as people say don't mess with computer stuff, it's honestly pretty hard to install the motherboard, at least incorrectly. But yeah, this is a pretty good motherboard. It's lasted me for about 5 years now. So 5 years? No, sorry. It's lasted me for about 2 years now. I forgot that I upgraded this in 2019. Okay, so the next thing that we're going to install, and the next thing you always want to install, is the CPU. Because you want to have as much space to work on that as possible. My CPU is not necessarily the best, but it's pretty good. It is an AMD Ryzen 7 8-core 2700. Every CPU has a different install method. I prefer the AMD method because it feels less like you're breaking something. What you do is you pull this lever up, you put the CPU in, and you push this lever down. Boom, that's it. It's locked in place. Then you take some thermal paste, and you just put a little drop on there. That's all you need. The thermal paste is to increase heat conductivity off the CPU, because CPUs get fucking hot. I know this for a fact because my wife's CPU is actually just having a problem right now where her CPU fan is dying a little bit, and it caused the computer to restart and say that it couldn't boot up because the CPU was overheated. I fixed the fan temporarily. We're getting her a new one. But when I turned on the computer after it had been idle for about 30 minutes, it was running at about 70 degrees Celsius. Anything over 100 is bad. And that was when it was just booting up. So her CPU was in danger of melting down. Fixed it, getting her a new CPU fan, getting new thermal paste to put on there. So she's all set. CPU cooling. I don't actually know what I have for a CPU cooler. I think it's just a basic bitch one. Fits this PC. There's all kinds of fancy fans that you can get. I don't see the point in them unless you're overclocking. If you're overclocking, you know, you do you, but I'm pretty sure it's just a basic bitch. The problem is I don't think they have basic CPU fans. And I'll be honest, I honestly don't open up my case and look at it. We'll install this one just because it is the basic bitch fan. It's fine. It's close enough to what it looks like. Let's take your cable, plug you into the motherboard. That I wish was as easy as it looked. It is very much not. But okay, so we've got... Okay. Then, what we can install next and what we should install next is the graphics card. I don't know the exact model of graphics card I have. I could look it up, but... See if it's actually in there. I'm actually kind of getting a little worried about this music, but it's fine. Device manager... Yeah, it doesn't tell me exactly what it is. Okay, so we'll make this up as we go. I know it has 6 gigabytes. I also know it's not a Founders Edition because I'm not that stupid. I don't actually know what it is. It might, honestly, my graphics card might not be here. When did I buy it? That's a 750 Ti, which I used for quite a while, but I've upgraded since then. Who did I buy it from? Did I buy it off the shelf? That's so weird. I've had it for a while, I know that. No. That's when I built Laney's computer. Huh. I actually do not know what graphics card I'm running. That is so weird. Where did I get this graphics card? Weird. Anyway, let's pretend that it's, you know, something decent. It definitely doesn't have RGB lighting, because I think that RGB lighting is a waste. But it does definitely have 6 gigabytes of RAM. So we'll go with this one. But we can't actually install the graphics card because there's something else that we need to install first. That is an M2 drive. I only have one M2 drive because the motherboard only supports one M2 drive. And it is... What is it? This just goes to show how often I actually look at my computer stuff. It just works once you install it, so it's not usually that big a deal. It is not a solid state. Is it an HD? No, that's a solid. Okay, it is that one. Okay. So I really wish that I had a really nice M2 drive, but honestly, I have like a basic M2 drive. It would be this one. This one is close enough. And so the M2 drive, I got it and I was surprised at how friggin' tiny it is. It's like that big. That big. And you just put it right in there. Boom. And it locks in. That's it. That's a 500 gigabyte drive, and that's a small one. You can get like 2 terabyte M2 drives. And they're really, really nice. Before we can install the graphics card, we need to pull these out. Graphics card. Alright, fits this PC, and it is a 1060. It's not an FTW. It's not an OC edition. Alright, we'll go with this one. That actually looks kind of about properly sized, so. Alright. So, the reason that you install the M2 drive is, as you can see, it's covered up by the graphics card. You would think that that would mean that it would overheat, but it really doesn't, because the heat is all going down or up. It's not going anywhere near the drive. So, it's very interesting. Memory. Okay. So, when I initially got this computer, I only had 16 gigabytes of RAM. Now I know that you're going to have what I need, right? This is relatively recent. HyperX Predator. Right there. So the nice thing about this motherboard is that the memory channels are color-coded, so you can see which ones go together. If you have only 2 memory sticks, you put them in the same color coding. And what's really hard to see about this is when you install memory correctly, these memory clips will lock in. They'll just go click, and you'll know that it's properly seated. So you open them up first and then just push it down on both ends and you go click, and it's going to feel, every time that you install something, it's going to feel like you're breaking it. I swear to God, it's going to feel like you're breaking it, but you're not. Don't worry too much. The only time that something is going to break is if you can't install it. So memory sticks, it's going to be impossible to see, almost impossible to see, but I don't have my mouse on the screen. Let me turn that on, actually. You can tell I'm all sorts of ready for this, right? No, that's okay. Okay. Capture the cursor. So, if you look right here, you can see the little notch here. That corresponds to a little notch in the actual stick line. You want to line that up. If you don't line that up and you try to force it in, then you're going to break something, so don't do that. Now, I do actually have 32 gigabytes of RAM right now, but one of the limitations of this game is you can only install same type memory. It will not let you install any other memory. Which is frustrating, because that's not the way memory works. As long as the frequency matches, you're fine. The frequency and the RAM type, I should say. So my actual second set of RAM is Corsair Vengeance LPX, 2 sticks of 8 gigabyte, DDR4 30,000 megabytes. But since we can't do that, thanks a lot, game, we'll install 2 more of these. So yeah. Alright, now, you might be sitting there going, that's the computer built, right? No, we only have the M2 drive as storage. So here comes the bullshit. You come out of there. You come out of there too. Alright, storage. Now, this is going to be impossible for me to find because I bought them over time. But I have... Also, this isn't going to be exactly correct because it doesn't have the right... I don't have the right case, but it'll be close enough. So I have a... I guess they don't have... Do they not have Western Digital? They didn't get sponsorship from Western Digital, so okay, that's fine. We will go with... We'll use the Seagate Barracuda as a backup. So I have... Why can't you fit that? Because I pulled out the drive cases. So my computer actually doesn't have this drive bay here because that's clunky as shit. Mine actually mounts on the back here. Kind of like these, actually. Put these drive bays back on here. Kind of like these. Storage, we need SSD. And again, not going to be perfect because they don't have the one that I have. But it's going to be close enough. So I have a 1 gigabyte. Which one looks kind of cool? And if you want to know what I think is a good... If you want to know what I think is good products and stuff like that, I don't really think about it that much. It's just a matter of what works for me. So, oh, yeah, fuck you. You wish it was that goddamn easy. Christ. So, it's actually more complicated than that. So you see the 4 holes here? The way you're supposed to install an SSD drive is you take the drive bay off, screw the SSD to it, and then put it on and then plug the cables into it. So it's more complicated than just, oh, I just put this thing on, right? No, you wish. Alright. And then I also have a... We'll just use this one, it's fine. I have a 240 gigabyte solid state drive and a 1 terabyte solid state drive. I just got this one because one of my other drives was failing, so. Alright, and then for basic storage, I got one of these, and I got one of these. So yes, I have a total of 4.25 terabytes plus another 1/4 terabyte on the SSD. And yes, my computer has 5 hard drives, plus an external. The external we're not going to bother modeling here because I can't find it in the game. It's an 80 gigabyte external hard drive. I've had it since 2003 and it's never failed me. So, is that all of the parts? Should be. So that's as close as I can get without going over. So let's hook up some cables. Cables are super easy to plug in. Do it as you go. Don't do it like right now. You should do it as you go, but if you want to make your cables look good, then you do it. You know, you gotta plan for it. But this is the power button. The power button goes here, and I swear to God, that jumper is the worst. So that jumper has 6 to 8 plugs that you have to plug in. They're all extremely tiny. They're like you can see right here, there's all of these little different points. Each of these covers 2, and you have to plug them into certain plugs, and you have to look at the manual for it, and I hate it. But you do it, because you have to, because that's how you turn on your friggin' computer. The graphics card plugs right into the power supply. It also draws power from the motherboard, but it needs extra power, so you have to do the power supply. The drives connect to the SATA connections, and also to power. And honestly, the cabling is one of the most difficult things to do. The nice thing about this case is it has like the pass-throughs that you can see here to keep cable management kind of reasonable. Oop, there's a case fan. Gotta plug in the case fan. Case fans connect to the motherboard because the case fans only run when the motherboard is on. You don't want to connect them directly to the power source. This is the motherboard power source. This is like a backup power source. It's more for the CPU, I believe. This is the actual motherboard power, and it's the big one. You really can't mess this one up because it only fits one way, so that's not a big problem. That looks super twisted, but I guess it's fine. Case fan to motherboard. And then these are the drives on the other side. Connect to the motherboard there. Connect to power. Connect to the motherboard. And that's it. That's your computer built. That's my computer built. It's as close as I can get without going over anyway. We will put this PCI cover back on because you want these PCI covers on to keep dust out. Honestly, this computer is really, really good about keeping dust out. I opened it up to install this drive maybe 2-3 months ago, and that was the first time I opened it up in like a year and a half, and it was almost dust-free. I was very impressed. What is this? We're going to install these because the game won't let me boot it up without them, but, you know, I don't have these here. Put the side panel back on. And the other side panel back on. And then we plug in the cables. Now, I guarantee that they're not going to have my keyboard and mouse and stuff like that. They might have my keyboard, but they won't have the mouse because Logitech does not sponsor this game. Alright, so that's that computer all built. Let's see if we can get a better mouse here. Logitech? No. So the closest we're going to be able to get is probably something like this. Cool. Corsair. Not quite. Close. Actually, really close. But it's not quite the one that I have, but it's fine. And then monitors. My monitor will not be here, and I have 3 of them anyway, so it's fine. Power. Power. Yep. That's the other thing with installing a new hard drive, is you have to make sure there's an OS on it. Only if you're replacing the main drive, but... And you super wish that your drive could install that fast. Or your OS would install that fast. So we're going to run 3D Mark and see how bad my computer is. So, once again, my computer is kind of beefy. The CPU is pretty good. The GPU needs to be updated, but I can't because the one that I want to buy is completely fucking unavailable. I don't even want like a 3080. Everybody's like, oh, the 3080 is the best thing. I don't want one. I want a 3070 or a 3060. I'll take either of those, but they're all sold out. So it's not going to happen. If you don't know what this is, 3D Mark is a benchmarking program. It's basically... It's not designed to tell you how good your computer is. It's designed to tell you how good your computer is in relation to other computers. So, getting a good benchmark score doesn't mean anything. Getting a better benchmark score than somebody else does. So this is the GPU test. You can see that the frames aren't necessarily the best. But yeah, it took me a long time to realize that a benchmark is supposed to run really slow because the benchmark score, it's basically, unless your computer is bleeding edge top of the line, you're not going to get a good score on this. or you're not going to get the highest score on this. It's not going to run smooth because it's not designed to run smooth. It's designed to stress your computer out. So you can see we're only getting 22 frames a second. If you build like the best computer, then you'll get more frames per second. You might even get as much as 60. But in this game, at least, that requires 2 graphics cards with a bridge to make them work together, and a top-of-the-line CPU with possibly water cooling. There's my score. It's 4354. CPU score is insanely good, 8217. Graphics card score, 4021. So that's my bottleneck right now. If I was able to get, like, let's just see what it would look like if I were to get a better graphics card. Because they have updated this to include the 3000, I believe. 3000 series. Yeah. So we're going to go with the GeForce RTX 3070. This is what I want. This is what I tried to buy, and unfortunately it just didn't happen. Cables. Boop. Boop. I honestly don't know if this is going to have enough power. Also, my memory doesn't do this. Or if it does, I don't care. It helps if you plug in the cable, Dave. Alright. The nice thing about a graphics card is it is just drop in and play. If you install it right and you have enough power, you just install the driver and it's ready to go. Nothing complicated about it. So you can already see we're getting 3 more frames per second here. And it does look better. And this is insanely better. This is why I want a new graphics card. Because this will look so much more smooth. And that's just replacing the graphics card. My CPU is fine. If I could get a 3070, which you can't because they're all fucking sold out constantly, then this is how much of an improvement it makes on your computer. I could probably even afford one even though I don't have a job. Look how much better this looks. This is how big a bottleneck I have to deal with right now. And my computer still runs really well. I don't need the 3070. I just really want one to get this. Boom. 11,376. That's how much of a difference it would make. My score for graphics goes up by 8,000 points. That's how much of a difference it would make. That's why I want a 3070. And again, that's not even the best card you can get. It's like the 3090 is the one that you would want to get, but anyway, we've been going for about 30, 40 minutes. So I just wanted to, I really like this game. There's a whole career mode to this game. There's actually 2 now. One is where you're just running like a PC repair shop, and the other is where you're managing an esports team that doesn't shut the fuck up. I need you to install this in my computer. Install this in my computer. Sponsors want this in the computer. Fix this computer. What did you download on this computer? But it's fun, and I do like it. But yeah, this game is actually pretty fun if you ever wanted to learn about building a computer, or if you want to build your computer as close as you can get to spec and see what upgrades would make it actually run better. You can do that in this game pretty reasonably too. And it saves you a lot of money. But thank you very much for watching. Make sure to click that like button down below if you liked it. We'll be back with more Metal Gear Solid next week. We will be finishing it in, I think, 3 episodes, maybe less, because we are right at the end of the game. I have fixed the problem with the recording, so it will go better next time. But thanks, and I'll see you guys later.